told you that was going to happen. NIL is simply a thing that was put in place. No one had any rules in place, and now it's just the wild, wild west. My God, what could go wrong? Who could think that an 18 to 22-year-old would ever make some weird decisions and deal with agents who are very good at taking advantage of 18 to 22-year-olds and millionaires all throughout college football and basketball and conglomerate organizations that are colleges that like to pretend that they're amateur sports? What could go wrong, Rob Brown? Take it away. This is stupid. I'm tired. Have at it.
I mean, I was perfectly willing to put this off until later in the show because the baseball slate is absolutely jam-packed today. But since we're here, if you will all go back just a couple of years, and I don't even think Deck and I were the power couple that we are today when NIL took over. But if you're surprised by this, it's on you. If you're taken aback by this, it's on you. If you're blaming Nico Iamaleava for seeing what the situation is and taking advantage to get a bigger pay deal, it's on you. When this whole thing cropped up, if you missed the story effectively, Nico Iamaleava was a 5-star recruit who selected to go play for Josh Heupel at Tennessee, and the NIL put together a $2 million contract for him to play at Tennessee, which he happily signed on the dotted line. And then Carson Beck transferred from Georgia to Miami, is getting $4 million a deal a year. And if you want to know where NIL is, Duke's quarterback, you know Duke, the Blue Devils, the basketball team, you know them? Yeah, they got a football team too, Cody Decker, it turns out. And just Duke's starting quarterback is getting $4 million per year. So the starting quarterback at Tennessee, a place that on Saturdays regularly jams more than 102,000 people into Neyland Stadium, said, wait a minute, if Duke's quarterback is getting 4, I think I deserve 4 at the very least, and held out effectively because of it. Just straight up skipped out on meetings on Friday and the spring game today, to the point that Josh Heupel, the head coach, said, yeah, we're moving on. Now, it may have been that Nico told him the day before, yeah, coach, I'm going in the portal. And Heupel is like just trying to play it off as, no. You don't quit. You're fired. We'll find out what the details are about that later on. But when NIL started, myself, Cody Decker, a lot of other people who aren't, what's the word I'm looking for here? Fools, said, hey, you got 2 options, which is you can put the guardrails down now, and then you can fight to protect the guardrails later, or you can try to put them in later after the chaos has already ensued. And effectively, the NCAA, which at the whim of the schools, the conferences, and the television networks, allowed itself to be a toothless and feckless organization over the past, I don't know, as long as I've been alive, put in no guardrails, no restrictions, no directions or directives, no protocols, etc. And here's where we are, where a quarterback said, there's a market. I'm going to play the market. The market says I can get $4 million. You only give me 2. I'll go somewhere I can get 4. And considering you have not gotten to the point where you say, I don't know, maybe sign a contract. Maybe get these kids some kind of contract that says if I sign up for 2, I'm sticking at 2 and I'm playing football or whatever. You didn't do that. So a guy says, you mean I can leave and go somewhere else and make more money? Ladies and gentlemen, Cody Decker, I don't know about you. I'm willing to bet you have. I've had conversations with my actual bosses over the past 5 years I've been here in Greenville and on the network and told them, I love you guys and I want to stick around. But if somebody comes around and says, Rob Brown, we will double your salary to come over here and do the same job, I got to go. And I think anybody in America would. So if you want to be mad this day, don't blame the kid for being disloyal. Don't blame the kid for having no respect for the game. Because I don't know about you, Decker. The list of things that I would do to raise my annual paycheck by $2 million is extensive. There's very little that's not on it at this point in my life. So maybe Maybe don't get mad at an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid who says, I can go do the same thing somewhere else for $2+ million more per year, because as mad as you all are at the disloyalty and the disrespect of the game, Decker, there's going to be a school somewhere that's going to go, $4 million. We got it. We're ready, Nico. Come on down, big fella. We got you for $4 million a year. And you know what that makes Nico Iamaleava? $2 million richer. That's what it makes him. I think he's probably going to be okay with whatever you think about him.
Can't stress this enough. As far as everyone is concerned, this is a huge, huge story. For me, it's like, why is this even remotely a story? The thing we told you was going to happen, happened, and will happen many more times. More players will end up holding out in college because they see professional athletes do it and get away with it. Now watch this kid get paid double what he got last year, and that's just the breaking of the seal, people. That's the first of many more to come. I had Dick Vitale on this week, and Dick Vitale can't get on very many shows. He can only do 2 shows, apparently, like a week. So it was lucky that we got him as an interview on Beadle and Decker. Phenomenal. And instead of even talking about the national championship game, he just went off for 10 minutes on the NIL, which I don't blame him. And it's not because the NIL is a bad thing. It's simply because no one knows what to do with it. There was as Rob Brown just said, no safeguards, no guardrails, literally nothing put down. It's going to be a contract league. If you sign an 18-year-old 5-star recruit, it's going to be here. You have to sign this for 2 years. You have to sign this for 3 years. Why has that not already happened? Because people running the show were stupid. That's all I got for you. They just didn't see what was very clearly in front of them. And it's not like we had umpteen professional leagues in the United States that we could draw from as comparisons on how to run this. But they decided just to go straight into it willy-nilly with nothing in place. And naturally, this is going to happen. It's been happening a ton. My favorite thing is Grant even put it in there in the chat. Can you put the NCAA title odds if you want for next year? Why? We don't know who's on any team because the transfer portal is so damn full. It would be irresponsible to give anybody futures odds of next year's NCAA anything.
Yeah, honestly, I got to tell you, Dick, that's an interesting point because I had not even really considered that. I mean, at this point, if you can bet the national championship game if you would like right now, but you're effectively betting on the overall health of a college football program, not on any specific read that you have about this offense is going to grow in this way and they're going to do this. Tennessee plays their spring game today. And they just had a 5-star quarterback recruit, a 5-star quarterback player leave the roster today. They've gone through spring. They had their entire spring has been geared around an offense being run by Nico Iamaleava. An entire spring based around that guy being QB1. Around that guy running the offense, around that guy's talent and skills and ability and timing and run game and yada, 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 yada. And here we are on spring game day, and all that work to install, to plan, and to execute, and to learn an offense navigated by Nico Iamaleava is all a wasted spring at this point. You better hope Tennessee's defense is real damn good. Because at this point, your offense, not only do you have to reinstall your offense around a quarterback who likely had limited snaps with the first string during the spring, but you have to install the new offense, and then you have to practice and learn it, and you now only have the fall camp to do it. You have lost half of the amount of time that other schools with their true starting 11 are going to have to perfect what it is they do when they have the football, which means if you put a spring bet down on the Tennessee Volunteers to win the Natty, and there were some people who did because of Nico Iamaleava, that's a wasted bet because I'm willing to bet respectfully. Ain't no sports books calling you going, hey, guys, we understand you put that bet down before Nico left the team. We're going to go ahead and refund. No, they're not. No, they're not. You made the bet. You got to live with it. Welcome to the game, baby. That's why we do this show. I am not one of these people, Deck, that screams that college sports is ruined. I'm not one of these people that screams, oh, it's the Wild West out there. These kids, they don't got no loyalty. Y'all, College recruiting is not what it was when you were a youngster back in the 1970s, where if you grew up in South Carolina, you only had one decision, which is, am I playing for the Gamecocks or the Tigers? It is an international game now. There is a horde of Australian rugby players who sign scholarships to be punters around America every year. It's an international game. The schools don't have any more loyalty to the kids than the kids do to the school. It's just that now they get a small slice of the multi-billion-dollar pie that is college football. Now, when we start talking about track and swimming and diving and softball and all these other sports, it's a different story because they're not revenue-generating sports. But specifically when it comes to football, Deck, I don't know many people in my circle that would get an offer of $2 million and not double bird their current employer on the way out the door. It just wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, again, that loyalty argument. And I know you do most of your shows there in South Carolina, and you're inundated with the college sports world. And you grew up in North Carolina, you grew up in New Orleans. And of course, you have a different perspective when it comes to the college sports world that I do. I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up more around, and make no mistake, I grew up in the city of UCLA and USC when there was no football team there. So yes, UCLA and USC, big business when it comes to sports in Southern California. But at the end of the day, Los Angeles is a transplant major city, so thus professional sports are king, not college sports. But you in the South, college sports gets to be a little bit more king there. The concept of loyalty in college sports is the most disgusting, most overblown, insane concept that every sycophantic Southern person has convinced himself is real, and it drives me insane. There is no such thing as loyalty in college sports. You wanted proof of that? Look at every head coach of every sports team who has gladly dropped their own team on a dime for a higher paycheck. And if you get mad at an 18 to 22-year-old kid for doing the exact same thing that the adult in the room constantly does, then dude, slap yourself in the face. I'll give you a minute.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to say, I will paint with a broad brush and say, no, the players don't have the loyalty to the programs that you do as a fan. Remember, you were brought up by this. You were raised by this. Your parents liked them, or perhaps you went to that school and you put a couple $100,000 of dollars into their coffers as a student. You have a loyalty for a reason. These kids play football, man. And we have seen football coaches throughout the offseason, throughout the regular season, that skip out before the bowl game, just like Jalen Milroe did last year. We see this happens all the time. Here's what it comes down to, Deck, and I realize this. This complaint from fans is out of pure selfishness. As far as you're concerned, no one should be better off as long as it hurts your entertainment and what you want. So you all dress it up as, oh, it's disloyal, it's disrespectful. They don't have the old character traits like my generation did. What it comes down to is you say, that's not how I like it. And if it's not the way I like it, it's bad.
Yeah. Guys, we got 4 hours to go. 4 hours. Strap in. We got more of this to talk about. Of course, we got Masters Week. Major League Baseball is on fire. Rob Brown wants to talk about college baseball. I have no idea why, but I might just let him. And also, Crypto the Superdog is ungodly adorable.